Hi there, welcome back. I I'd mentioned in my previous video that I would close it out with this one. I am going to I'm going to say something at the end. I suppose. I watched that video and I want to make some clarifications. I misspeak a lot these days, and luckily, I guess with recording, I'm able to see when I have misspoken, and I did a few times. I just want to make some clarifications. I just want to be accurate. So I'll just start here. This video is going to be a little longer than the couple minutes I thought it was going to be, as has been every video I've made. I really can't forecast these things. I have almost no idea what I'm going to say. Though I have written this down. Anyways, I'll just jump into it. From the top, I don't think that this is in any particular order. I had mentioned in the previous video that when moving up to that second floor apartment, I wasn't able to store my things. That's true. That was a directive from the landlord. However, I wouldn't have been able to do that anyway. I mean, I could have, but I had so much that it would have been a huge, imposition to do that. It would have taken up the entire living room and dining room. So that wasn't really a possibility. So getting that storage unit was absolutely necessary considering the circumstances. I had mentioned, and I don't think I went into any detail, and I'm not really going to go into much detail because it takes too much time. I'll probably do that in the other videos that I'll make. Further explanation if you guys want to watch that. It's loud here. Apologize. There was extortion happening with my landlord. And to what severity? I mean, to me it was sufficient enough to be a big problem and a burden on just a large amount of stress. The nature of that originally was threat of being kicked out because a couple of roommates of mine left. The reason for them leaving was the landlord had, or at that time, Dave, who was the property manager prior to him buying the building, failed to give them a lease renewal. He just wasn't getting around to it. And they had asked him many months prior, and he just was dragging his feet. And they found another place to live. They wanted to stay, but they didn't like that he wasn't. Anyway, they found another place to live, which required me to find new roommates, which is time consuming. It's expensive. I found two more roommates, and he failed to produce a lease with them, or with one of them. The issue was with one of them. He failed to produce the lease, and I lost her. She wanted the place, and it was just a couple days before the end of the month. I needed to nail down that room, and she wanted the place, and he just really dropped the ball, and she pulled out at the last minute. There's a little more to that. There's just more details, but it was entirely his fault. that she wanted that room, and for weeks, and or at least a week and a half or so, a couple weeks probably, and would have signed the lease if he had presented it to her. And anyway, he this was the first point where extortion was an issue. He threatened to kick me out if I didn't pay her rent. Yeah, I'm going to go into that in the other videos. I don't have the time to do it. It's a little bit of a story, but that was the beginning. And from that moment on, I realized that he was willing to do anything to get me to do what he wanted me to do. And he knew that it wasn't easy for me to move. I shouldn't say it's easy for really anyone to move. It's a real hassle. But for someone in my situation, I had a lot of things. I'm 46 years old. At the time, I was closer to 40, probably. And I had my own business. I had my own shop. I had many things. I had a fully furnished apartment for my roommates that would move in. They could quite literally just bring what they needed for their bedroom, and everything else was furnished. I did that because I had been trying to create a life for myself for quite some time, and I really wanted to buy a house and some property. And so for me to move all of my household items along with my entire shop and have an apartment that would accommodate that, be a good place to have a shop, was a major it was unlikely that I'd be able to find that within just a 30-day span of time. To anyone who hasn't searched for an apartment, it's really not easy. You have a lot of competition. You have a lot of bad apartments. It takes time to, you have to set up appointments, and that's after going through many emails. I mean, it's a really time-consuming process. So the prospect of me actually losing, at the very least, a lot of money in the process of moving, was that was a high likelihood. The potential for me actually to lose everything, because after if I had been displaced for an additional month or something, where am I going to put my things? I can't work out of, and what am I going to work out of? I don't have my, if my tools are, anyway, I really, that place was the last place I intended to rent. I had told them that, when I initially started renting there. They knew these things, and I think used that information against me, because they knew how difficult it was for me to pick up everything and move on. So that explanation is way longer than I wanted it to be, as is is the case every single time, without fail. Moving on, and I won't go into details anymore like this. I'm just pretty much going to read off my phone. I have the notes here. Regarding the IRS, I needed the IRS to tell me what they required of me to file my taxes, because I had been denied by a tax accountant to do my taxes when I revealed that I had a client that had not paid me. It resulted in unfiled taxes. I needed to talk to the IRS and see what they required of me of paperwork for them to just accept my taxes. So this was, I really needed information from the IRS to tell me what they required. It's, so they really were, I needed their info. I needed their input, rather. the man, John Kakalitis, who owned owned the storage facility and lured me up to his building. He owned he was I said he was a resident of Portland. Well, firstly, I mentioned that I apologize. That they locked the doors. That's not it. I had keys to those doors. I misspoke there. They were changing the locks on me. It was causing a massive problem with logistics. I was moving an entire collection from that location to another location. It was really wreaking havoc on my job. Who he was? He was a resident of Portland. He was a real estate developer there in Portland, amongst perhaps other things. And his son was a lawyer, and I'm pretty sure still practices law there. He owned the 2 Monument Square, right downtown Portland, which is the building that I went into to meet with him that day. And he also apparently is an investor in New York City. So this man has a whole lot of money. He's no longer alive. His son is, and I imagine his son inherited everything. But this man, I imagine, was nearly in the billionaire range. With all of the stuff that he was into, I imagine he was hundreds of millions, if not, approaching somewhere in the ballpark of being a billionaire. Basically, the point of me saying that is that for him to do what he did to me, I was my own ransom, I guess. I was just a working guy. And the amount of money he wanted from me, 14 grand, I imagine he made that perhaps even in a day. It was just, it's very, it gives some insight into the way, I'm making a generalization. I'm sure that all very wealthy people aren't like this, but I've dealt with some, and their batting average isn't very good when it comes to dealing with me. They are so entirely out of touch, and so they completely lack empathy. In fact, I think that they really don't consider people who aren't at their level of income generation to be human or people, or so that's who he was. Let's see. I mentioned workers' comp. I wasn't denied workers' comp. Just to make a clarification, I think that maybe what I had said about that when I breezed through it, that there might have been an implication that I was denied. I wasn't denied at workers' comp. I was accepted. I had, however, they just failed to pay me the money. They kept putting off the payment and sending me letters. I'll go into detail with that. They sent letters stating my claim would be closed for lack of contacting them, and so that letter would be sent, and I'd receive it, like a day or two before the claim was supposed to be closed. I'd contact them, and then it would start all over again, and it was a tactic that the woman who was on my case was using to keep my money and not pay me for as long as possible. And I never got the money. This went on for over a year. Pardon me. There's an alarm going off of some sort. Also, when I said in the video that I couldn't go into any details, it was only due to time constraints. I had no desire to withhold information. Also, let's see. I had referred to a loan that I couldn't get from my bank regarding my reduced credit score because of the I was sent to collections by Spectrum Internet. It was a first small loan. Now, I know I say that I wasn't able to get loans, and I was essentially shut out from any access to financial institutions because I couldn't do my taxes, and that's true. But this small loan was when I was getting evicted for the second time. I wanted a little bit of money to fall back on. I had just started working again, albeit far too soon because I was very sick. But I needed a personal loan of a small amount. I was hoping for $1,500 or maybe $2,000. I even asked for $1,000. I was denied because my credit score was so low. That type of loan, I don't think would have involved me. I don't think they would have checked to see if I had done my taxes. Larger loans like mortgages, home loans, that's when taxes become involved. And I was not, those type of loans weren't accessible to me till I did my taxes. My mortgage broker also, I had a mortgage broker, and I had him getting the ball rolling in hopes that I would sort out the IRS issue. I never did. So unfortunately, everything he and I discussed was all for nothing. Okay, so I had barely been keeping things afloat when I was evicted for the second time, and that was December 1st is when I had to move out. And at that time, I had seen a new doctor. I was displaced at that point, and I wound up having to live about an hour away. I had a client who had been asking me to do some renovations on his a building that was about an hour from Portland where I lived. And I never accepted because it was just logistically, it didn't make any sense for me. I ended up living there because it was the only place I could go. There was an intermediate place, I'll talk about that later, but that didn't pan out. Being so far away meant that I was an hour away from work, and my doctor was in a different town, sort of like, if you were looking at it on a map, looked like a triangle, and they were all about 1 hour away from one another. I was no longer able to afford to go to my doctor due to the gas consumption, the gas costs. Fortunately, he was really fantastic, and it's really too bad that I was evicted, because I think I could have, as horrible as things were, I think I could have salvaged what was left. And that doctor told me he was going to send me to a rheumatologist, something that I had been trying to get done for years. And that never happened because I was so completely displaced. And things went downhill very quickly at that point, and I realized that it was all over. I was working as much as I could, but I was very sick. So I might have been getting in maybe 3, maybe 4 days a week. Spending most of my money on gas because I was so far away. My vehicle insurance tripled from what it had been about 7 months prior. So I stopped paying everything. I haven't had vehicle insurance for 2.5 years now, I guess. Maybe not that long. What has it been? About 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years I haven't had vehicle insurance. And there's just so much to say. I'm sorry. I can't pull it together. I have been trying to make this video for the year and a half I've been out here, and I have been so unable to pull it together mentally that I've been putting it off. But I'm out of resources, and I don't have any. I'm out of time, and my truck is 2 years ago. My truck needed at least $10,000 worth of work. It is pretty much a miracle every time I can get it to move. That's not an exaggeration, really. $10,000. I need a new transmission. That's about $6,000. And I need a lot of other stuff. I'm out of money. My tools have been stolen. A lot of those. What I had left. I mean, I lost tons of tools in being displaced like this. I had to abandon so much. But yeah. Right now, I'm going to stop with the history here. I've been wanting to tell this story for so long, and when I say wanting to, it's a bit of a I don't want to reveal this, but I have I don't really have a choice, because my options are to just disappear into obscurity and be left with whatever horrible things my community that I used to live in Portland had heard about me from my landlord. I know that he had said some pretty terrible things about me to neighbors who had. There were 2 instances where things had been said that were pretty bad, and these were just the times that the neighbors had told me about that. I lived there for a long time. I lived there for about 10 years. And the man didn't like me for quite some time, so it's quite possible that he has said a lot about me, and to leave this world and not and have that be the only memory of never being able to fulfill my complete my goals. I'm sort of at a loss here. I haven't nearly accomplished the things that I set out to do, and for it to be further undermined by a misrepresentation of my character by one of the people who was so responsible for my what I've become, is that's just not an option that I can't accept that. So I'm making this video. Whether anyone sees it, I have no idea. But I'm just not. I'm doing a horrible job at communicating this right now. Sometimes I'm okay, sometimes I'm not. My mind is, it's very, it's inconsistent, and I can't rely on. It's unreliable. I don't know. Yeah. So that's the abridged story. I probably could have shortened that up quite a bit, but it is, that's what we've got. What is it? It's January 16th, I think. Yeah, it's the 16th. And it's cold. It's winter in Maine. We're going to have some very cold days here in the next few days. But it's the end of winter here. But I'm not gonna make it much longer. Once I run out of money, that's it. And my truck isn't legal. This is the only reason I'm alive. This truck has been my shelter, and if the cops find my truck, they're gonna see that I don't have. My plates aren't up to date, so it's not registered. They see that sticker and they ask me for my information. They're going to see that I also am not insured, and they'll likely just take my vehicle, everything that's in here, and I'll never see it again, and that will be it. That is that's why I can't leave here. My truck really is it's very unreliable, but if I do absolutely need to leave, which I do sometimes, it's I feel like a fugitive, because I'm scanning always to see if there are cops on the road. If I get pulled over, even if they check me out in this parking lot, I keep it parked in such a way that it's difficult to see my plates. But they'll take my truck. They don't care. It'll be impounded, and it'll become the property of the junkyard that's got it, or maybe a police auction. I have no idea. But it won't be mine anymore. And I am fiercely protective of this truck. It's generally pretty monotonous out here in this parking lot. It's loud, it's awful. But I am, there have been times when I have, I'll defend this truck. It's my life. If I lose it, I'm dead. I'm gone. And I fear what this is a, what do I say? That's the story. There's so much detail that I left out, but that's where I am. I've lost absolutely everything. There's no potential for me to get it back. It's gone. And without my health, even if I had perfect health, I'm so far in debt. I've lost so much that has taken me years and years of sacrifice to accumulate. I was always putting money back into my tools, into my business, and that meant buying equipment, good equipment too. It was always I wanted the good contractor grade stuff. I had beautiful hand planes. Lee Neely, anyone who looks at woodworking tools, good woodworking equipment, because it's not just how I make money. It's I enjoy the process of it, and I don't want to fight with my tools. I want them to feel good in my hands. I want them to I want to enjoy the process. That's I'm just going to keep going on. So that's the story. I'll make those other videos, and what do I say? Just there's so much I'd like to say. I don't want to preach. I have a lot that I could say. I guess what I'll just be good to each other. It's not hard. Treat each other well, and put your effort in, and you'll if people put the effort in, they wouldn't have to take from others. Just be good to each other. Okay. Well, for those of you that have watched this, thank you. I appreciate it. So long. All right. Bye-bye.